Right, hi guys, and welcome back to the Crawl Room. We're here once again in this wonderful ranty room for all things Formula One. That's right, Formula One is back after the summer break, and what a way to kick things back off with, eh? That was a really exciting race. It had a little bit of everything, didn't it? A bit of drama, a couple of collisions here and there, some really robust moves and overtakes, and we saw a first-time podium finisher as well. So yeah, Zandvoort delivered the goods, and it was an exciting race. So if you've never seen this series before, I award the drivers out a maximum of 10 points based on their overall race weekend's performance, and I go all the way down to 0 if they have a particularly bad one. Take a look at bonus points. They sometimes offer some drivers to do something extra special during a race, and on the rare occasion I do award minus points. Those drivers do something extra special, but for all the wrong reasons. Let's take a look at the current Crawl Room standings then going into this episode. It's been a while, hasn't it? It's on the screen now for you to take a look at. Have a look and see where your favourite driver currently sits on these standings, and based on how well they did this race, can you see them going up? Can you see them going down? It was a race that had a little bit of everything. Some really impressive drives, some really poor performances, a few lucky drivers with the timings of safety cars and pit stop windows, etc. But we're going to divulge in all that in a moment. We'll take a look at the team standings as well then while we're here. Of course, this is scored cumulative of what the drivers score in their respective series, and then I can manipulate them somewhat by adding bonus points to the teams I think that drivers are under-delivering and taking minus points away from the teams that I think aren't offering what they should be doing to their respective drivers. As you can see, there's some big minus points to come off of the tallies. There's a couple of bonus points on there as well to add on. All that will be deducted and added on at the end of the season. So where they currently stand is not where they're going to be come Abu Dhabi. So let's kick things off with the race winner then, shall we? We may as well. That's what we're here for. Oscar Pastry, what's your favourite pastry? Well, I'm not sure what type of pastries they have over in Holland. Is it the Stroop waffle? That's kind of like a biscuity kind of caramelly thing. He'd have been trogging on those all weekend long, I think, because my oh my, whatever he's been having during the summer break has certainly worked, hasn't it? His first ever Grand Slam in Formula One achieved at the Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. Absolutely fantastic. There's not really much else can be said about that, can there? He looked like he was going to be on the back foot going into qualifying. Lando Norris over the practice sessions and early into the qualifying sessions looked like he had the little slight edge over Oscar. But as always, when it mattered in Q3, Lando didn't get the lap together, Oscar did, and Oscar started on pole. Pulled away nice and cleanly off the line and then just led the race from there. As mentioned, led every lap, fastest lap, and his first ever Grand Slam. No problems, no fault at all, and it's a perfect 10. I mean, it has to be, doesn't it? What else can you say about it? It has to be a perfect 10 for delivering literally a perfect weekend, which is what that McLaren should be doing and what it's capable of. So let's hope that Oscar Piastri is able to continue this form and take the championship in a few races' time. You know, the big points haul now. Of course, Lando with his DNF, unfortunately, due to mechanical issues, means he's got a 34-point deficit now. And it's surprising it's not already more than that anyway, to be honest with you. Had you not had the likes of Australia at the first race of the season, where he was second place to Lando, that was like, instead of losing 7 points, he lost 16 there. So that's a big point swing. And there was other moments as well where timings of safety cars and things meant that Lando got ahead and out-strategized, such as like Hungary. So there's a lot of points that went missing for Oscar this year, and it's surprising that the gap isn't already around this. But nonetheless, it's all swings and roundabouts. Oscar, of course, needs a good, clean final 9 races now to be able to clinch the title. It's in his favour with this result, but it doesn't mean that a Mercedes engine in the back of his car isn't going to go pop, does it? So we'll wait and see. But for Oscar Pastry, it's a perfect 10. It can be no less. In second place, we come to Max Verstappen in the Red Bull, lining himself up in P3 and finishing here in P2 after running round inside the podium places all race long, and of course benefiting from Lando's late retirement in the race to elevate himself up one more position and secure another top 2 finish, which is what he's done all the time that Zandvoort has been on the calendar. Since 2021, he's either finished first or second. So that's an impressive effort, isn't it? The home fans clearly giving that Red Bull a little bit more horsepower in the engine. What an absolutely crazy first lap he had, though. I mean, let's just put that move into perspective. Initially, Lando had a better start than Oscar, but then got boxed in. So Max went round the outside, and that was round the outside of turn 1. Then he stayed round the outside for turn 2, and then you came to turn 3, and he was on the dusty, sandy area. He got sideways, he got 2 wheels on the grass, and then he dove it up the inside for the banking, and was able to take the position. Wow, that was a spicy overtake, that, and I'm glad he did it. He pulled it off. And that really does show the kind of talent that Max Verstappen is behind the wheel. When he's able to do something like that, a car out of control, and be able to bring it back in control, and not only not lose places, but able to gain one as well. That was bloody impressive, that. Well done to Max Verstappen for that. For Max Verstappen this weekend, it's going to be 9. 9 points to Max Verstappen. I'm just knocking a little point off there for the little off that he had during free practice. There was a lot getting caught out at turn 1 by the gusts of wind there. He wasn't the only driver to fall victim, of course, but it just doesn't make it a perfect weekend, does it? He could have done with that additional track time. I don't think the result would have been any better than what he got, but Red Bull, in terms of understanding the car, could have done without him having that little excursion. 9 points to Max Verstappen. Don't really want to criticise his weekend at all. P2 in that Red Bull is a mighty effort. In third place, we come to Isaac Hodge. Isaac Hadjar. That's right, it's Isaac Hadjar. Well done, David Croft. You still can't say his name, you pleb. And neither can Karun Chandok this weekend, it seems, either. He was struggling with his name during the post-race interviews and all that talking nonsense. So, yeah, no one can call him Isaac Hadjar, can they? It has to be Isaac Hadjar, Isaac Hadjar. But we're getting distracted by the idiots. We're getting distracted by the commentating idiots that are Sky F1 and the broadcasting team that go with it. But yeah, let's talk about Isaac Hadjar, and not just about how you say his name. Let's talk about what an incredible weekend this guy has had. P4 in qualifying, and then proceeded to finish the race and complete the race in P4 throughout all of it. He never dropped below that. He had some great pace. He had withstood pressure from behind from the likes of Leclerc and George Russell. It was a little bit of a cork in the bottle, but he was driving incredibly well. And I know it's hard to overtake around Zandvoort, but we did see some good moves up and down the field. No one could get past Isaac, could they? No one could do it. And in the end, of course, with the late retirement for Lando Norris, that elevated him up from an on-merit P4 into an incredibly well-deserved P3, securing a podium in his 14th attempt of trying in Formula 1. And this begs the question now, are they going to promote him to Red Bull and just literally zap the energy out of him and be like, yeah, you're going to go in the bad car now. That's your reward for doing well. Honestly, what a guy what a driver he's turned out to be. He really has. We've all forgotten about the first round at Australia where he went off on the formation lap. You know, that was such a bad moment for him there. But ever since then, Japan especially, when he had the seatbelt issue and was still able to get himself into Q3 and qualify respectively well in that session, he has been unbelievable, and the only thing that has really let him down for the most part has been the strategy by the team, because had he had better strategy calls throughout the weekends, he'd have been able to deliver a lot more points. So, yeah, Isaac Hadjar, don't get me wrong, he's had a couple of rookie errors here and there, but he has really, really deserved this podium finish. What a stunning, stunning performance. And it can be no less than 15. He's getting 5 bonus points. He gets 15 in the race. He gets 15 here on the crawl room as well. What a stunning drive. Stunning performance. P4 in qualifying. P4 all race. Elevated to P3 due to the Lando Norris retirement, but that's not his fault. He put himself in that position should anything go wrong ahead, and it did. And it did. That's not Isaac's fault. What a fantastic, incredible driver he has turned out to be. And I really hope he doesn't get promoted to Red Bull, because he doesn't deserve that kind of treatment. He deserves to stay in this car that's doing well, delivering solid points finishes. He's clearly adapted to it well. It can bring home some more great results for the team. And not only that, he can look then elsewhere. He can go, right, I'm going to flee the nest now, Red Bull. Thanks, but I'm not taking your second driver seat for the big Red Bull team. I'm going to go find myself another seat somewhere else. What an incredible driver Isaac Hadjar has turned out to be. Best rookie so far this season, and I'll continue to say it. 15 points to Isaac Hajar. In 4th place, we come to George of the Russell. Watch out for Leclerc. That's right, he had a little bit of a rough and tumble with Leclerc, absolutely putting a stunning move on him into that final sector at the corner that you never go around the outside of. You just don't put your car there. It's a racetrack, George. You put your car where you like. Leclerc took his money, took his choice, and went for it, and it was a great move. Yeah, he suffered a little bit of floor damage as a result, but what a good hip and shoulder that were. What a great move. George Russell this weekend drove really well, qualified well. I mean, obviously you'd like to say that he shouldn't really be finishing behind an RB. I think that goes without saying. But, you know, Isaac was just on a different planet this weekend. He really was. And George, for the most part, had a solid weekend overall. Got that Mercedes car inside the top 5 in qualifying, top 5 in the race. Can't say fairer than that, to be honest. That's sort of where the car is for the most part this season, and he delivered what the car was capable of. Russell is getting 8.5 from me. It was an okay race, don't get me wrong. I think he had a great performance. I'm going to have to knock a little point off, though, for him whinging. That's what mainly's done it for me. I'm not too bothered about the fact he finished behind Adjar. It was a difficult race to overtake, and as already mentioned, Isaac was just phenomenal. But yeah, George Russell this weekend, 8.5 from me for the whinging down the radio, once again because he got overtaken. And if we're not allowed to overtake cars anymore, George, always moving under braking, we can't do that, always weaving, always just driven into the side of me off the track. Calm your titties, George. We don't like moaners. We know you've inherited it from Lewis Hamilton during your brief spell together at Mercedes, but you don't have to be the moaner now just because you're the lead driver. Stop moaning. Put your right ears up. I'm not heavily criticising you, but it's a warning to you, George. Pack the moaning in. 8.5 to George of the Russell. Securing 5th place, we come to Alex Albon in the Williams car. Great effort, great drive here by the Williams driver. Fantastic performance. Okay, qualifying wasn't great. Lined up 15th, did not get his Q2 lap time together. He even admitted that himself. There was a lot left on the table. He made a mistake in Sector 2, I think he said, and that cost him time and meant he started 15th. However, in the main race itself, he elevated himself up to P10 on lap 1. What an incredible drive that was. 5 places in 1 lap at a circuit you can't overtake. Very, very impressive. And then the race itself sort of came to him with the timings of the safety cars and where their pit stop windows came in. I think they went for the first stops like everyone else did, and it was that second safety car intervention that was able to get him ahead of a few cars that had already pre-pitted, and then that meant he got a free pit stop effectively. And elevated his place up to 5th, and that is where he crossed the line. Fantastic effort. It's his 3rd or 4th top 5 finish this season for the Williams squad. We've seen a podium for Sauber, we've seen a podium for RB. It's got to be coming for Williams, hasn't it? We just can't string it together where both cars are inside the points and up there fighting where they should be. So that's frustrating. It is frustrating, but I think it's going to come. If they can get podiums, so can Williams. It just needs to go right for them. It really does. There needs to be that impeccable qualifying performance. There needs to be an impeccable race performance. They need to get the strategy spot on. But it is doable. We can see it's doable. For Albon, it's going to be 9 points to me for him. Just knocked him a point off for the qualifying effort, but was able to recover the race well. I mean, the fact he was able to gain 5 places in 1 lap kind of mitigates what he did in qualifying. You're like, yeah, I can forget about that now, Albon, to be honest with you, because you've sort of qualified where you should have been then. But yeah, 9 points to Albon. Don't want to criticise him too much. He had enough in practice as well, didn't he? A bit similar to what Max Verstappen had, so, you know, maybe a generous by a point potentially. But nonetheless, 9 to Alex. I think that's a fair score. Great drive. And he's once again out-driving Carlos Sainz for the most part, and that is incredible. 9 to Albon. In 6th place, we come to Ollie Behrman in the first of the Haas cars. What a fantastic, fantastic weekend Haas have had. The race pace certainly didn't look like it was going to go all their way, did it? Qualifying was certainly not good over a single lap. Both drivers eliminated in Q1, lining up towards the back of the grid. Ollie Behrman, in fact, ended up being a pit lane starter due to an engine change. So the fact he's gone from 20th and pit lane into P6 is incredible. And how did they achieve that? They just stayed out there for the long run. They were playing the long game. And they were quite happy just to stay out there. They were running around in sort of like 10th and 11th. They've got cars that are pitted behind them. They'd obviously got cars ahead that had already pitted. But But they were happy in that 10th and 11th spot, and they were like, we're just going to wait for something to happen. And something did happen when Antonelli and Leclerc came to contact, came to blows, and caused a safety car, creating a pit stop opportunity for both Haas drivers to take, and were able to really take hold of that. So not only then were they on fresher tyres, but they also were able to not lose as many places as they would have done had the safety car not been called. So that was a fantastic opportunistic strategy. And then Ollie Behrman did well with that. From where he was in the order, about 11th or 12th, he was then able to elevate himself firmly inside the points on much fresher tyres, put some good overtakes in. Other drivers pitting as well, of course, meant that he was able to get ahead of them on merit. 6th place. What a stunning effort. 9 to Ollie Behrman. 9 points to him. Clear that Haas car hasn't got the single lap pace, but it certainly had good opportunities for the race pace, and the strategy worked out well. So yeah, great team effort, great driver effort to get the car in that position, and it's 9 points to Oliver Behrman. Securing 7th place and a few points for the Aston Martin squad, we come to Lance Stroll.
Hey, 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 you've been disqualified, you bastard.
And there we have it. Lance Stroll has managed to last 14 rounds, but unfortunately a disqualification has come his way. Him securing a P7 does not equate to me at all, giving him points and sympathy for what he did in qualifying and for what he did in FP1 or 2. It doesn't matter. He crashed heavily in one of the FP sessions, free practice 2, wasn't it? And then in the qualifying, shunted in Q1 on his first push lap. Stupid idiot, moron. Ended up down at the back of the grid. And then is here in P7 due to strategic call that worked out well. And have you noticed once again how Stroll was put on the optimum strategy and Alonso was put on the less optimal strategy and had to fight with traffic? Yeah. Funny that, innit? Funny. So yeah, Alonso ended up finishing behind Stroll, but that really doesn't show the full picture. The fact that Stroll's here is down to strategy and strategy alone, and the fact he was able to keep it on the road. Hallelujah, you kept it on the road, Lance. I'm not awarding you for that at all. And yeah, you were lucky this race, but I cannot help you but give you a disqualification for crashing it heavily in free practice 2 and for then shunting on your first push lap in qualifying. Stupid moron. I have no sympathy for you whatsoever, and you are disqualified. I've given him all the options and chance in the world. I mean, 14 races. How long has he ever lasted 14 races before a disqualification? My God, you know. So fair play, Lance. You did well, but not well enough. You're out of here, pal. Disqualified is Lance Stroll. As mentioned, finishing behind his teammate, we come to Fernando Alonso. He wanted to do something different because he was just sat in traffic after his first stop and was like, God, guys, you know, what's happening here? Why have you always put me in a strategy where I'm stuck in traffic? Let's try something different. Let's go for another pit stop. And they went for the other pit stop and ended up working out really well because when the other driver started to react, he was able to get them because when he pitted, he was on clear air, gained a load of time on him and got the undercut done. And then, of course, was helped by the timings of the safety cars, etc., and got himself here into P8 and a few points. Alonso got himself into Q3. He deserved more from this race, but of course, you know, Daddy Racing got his son a better strategy than Alonso, and meant that's why he finished ahead. I think Alonso, had he been put on the strategy that Stroll had, could have really done a lot better, to be honest with you. I think there was options there for him to maybe finish P6. So there was options there, but he didn't have, did it? So yeah, Fernando Alonso is 8 points, solid 8 to him. Rightfully frustrated, once again seeing his shitty teammate ahead of him due to strategy and not skill. Frustrating. I feel your pain. 8 to Alonso. Picking up a couple of points, we come to Yuki Tsunoda in the second of the Red Bull cars. Now, I always said, didn't I, if Yuki Tsunoda was able just to get the car inside the points, he would survive disqualification, and that's exactly what he's done. I don't expect much more from Yuki. It's a shame that Yuki hasn't been able to stay in that second Red Bull junior seat, the RB Visa Cash App Maxi Tampon thing, because Yuki could have had a podium this weekend. You know, he could have had some great results, but instead he's struggling with a heap of shit that won't work. And it's highly, highly frustrating, but at least he's picked up some points here today. And, yeah, it's something, isn't it? It's a middle row 5 to Yuki. Don't want to be overly critical of him. P12 in qualifying, okay, not fantastic. Didn't get the best strategy. Came to, you know, fell victim to the timings of safety cars as well, etc. So couldn't have an impressive performance like Behrman did. But was able to pick up something from it. Middle row 5 to Tsunoda. That's that. Securing the final points paying position after crossing line in P11, elevated here, of course, due to a penalty for Kimi Antonelli. We come to Esti Bestie Ocon. Esti Bestie to you. Ain't like Esti Bestie Ocon. Very much like his teammate Ollie Behrman, hung it out to dry there for a long, long time and then benefited from the timing of the safety car for the contact between Antonelli and Leclerc. And of course benefited from the fact that Antonelli crashed into Leclerc and got a 10-second time penalty, because without that, Ocon would have been finishing P11 despite all of that going his way. So, yeah, he clearly didn't have the correct pace compared to his teammate. He lost a couple more positions than his teammate when the pit stops came into play, so that meant he had to work to get through that, and that sort of put him on the back foot then. He had the best of the tyres and wasn't still quite inside the points, but, you know, a penalty ahead meant he gets a point and a double points finish for the Haas squad, which proves that their race pace is decent, the strategy, the call they got right, but the one-lap pace in qualifying is lacking. For Ocon, it's going to be 6.5 from me for him. Not on par with his teammate this weekend at all, apart from qualifying, but then when you're both out in Q1, what does that matter? And the race itself, of course, came to the Haas drivers, but didn't capitalise on it as much as his teammate did. 6.5 to Esti Bestie Ocon. Just outside the points, we come to Franco Colapinto in the Alpine. There was probably opportunity for him to score a point this weekend. There was a team order issue, weren't there, where Gasly wouldn't let him through. Had Gasly let him through, that would have meant Colapinto was a little bit further up the road and maybe, just maybe, could have fended off from the Haas of Ocon. Maybe, I don't know, I'm just second guessing there. But yeah, Franco Colapinto out in Q1. And then the race itself sort of came to him again by the strategy call that the team had put on. They pitted early first time round, didn't they? That gained him a load of time for when the first safety car came out. Then they pitted early again, and it was just like, it was offset. So they had a tyre disadvantage. However, they had track position. And here he is finishing P11, so that's a good effort by Colapinto. Closest he's come to points. He's had a couple of 13th places until this opportunity, but still not a point on the board after a few races now. A few too many. We're all expecting him to be replaced by this point, so the fact he's survived the summer season, bravo Franco. Gets his best result in Formula 1, but it's still not points, is it? I'm going to give him 6. I don't want to be overly harsh on him, don't want to be overly critical, but again, it's still nothing special, is it? Could have had a point or two there this week, and I don't think it was all his fault. I think the team game that Gasly was playing, just being a little bit butthurt that his teammate was actually faster at that point in the race, didn't help. But yeah, 6-2, Franco Colapinto for his best finish of the season so far, I guess, but still not that great. Securing 12th place, we come to Liam Lawson in the second of the Visa Cash App Maxi Tampon RB. Buy one, get one free. Don't forget your AlphaTauri, your Taurus, or your Minardi. Don't you dare forget about it. His teammate, of course, securing a podium. Here he is down in P12 after contact with Carlos Sainz. Sent both of them, unfortunately, down the back of the grid, due to both sustaining a puncture after that contact. Lawson is disqualified on this series anyway, and has been for a good number of races now. I think we only ended up halfway through the season before he round 10, I think it was round 10, round 9, and he'd already been disqualified, so it didn't last long at all. And yeah, after this performance once again, had he not been disqualified, I would have been chucking him out anyway. So yeah, not a great drive by Lawson. Qualified himself in P8, which was okay, but his teammate did far greater, and the race itself still didn't manage points, but his teammate got a podium. Not fantastic at all. It's disqualified anyway for Lawson, so we don't award him points, but my God, had he not already been disqualified, I would have been doing this race as well. Finishing in and unlucky for some P13, we come to Carlos Sainz. Smooth operator. Not again, Carlos.
My Formula 1 career was a brief one. 8 races for Minardi in 2005 before completing 3 races for Red Bull in 2006. That's it. Nothing else to add, really.
And there we have it, Robert Dornbos of the week 2. Good old Carlos Sainz. Now, I don't wholeheartedly blame him for the incident. It was a racing incident. I don't agree with the 10-second time penalty that he received in the race. I don't think it was his fault. I think it was totally 50-50. Both drivers were to blame. Both drivers could have done more to avoid the incident. I don't agree that the fact that the FIA has this, we always have an open door policy if you want to come and talk, except when we want to talk about a penalty you've been given, because he went up there and they were like, no, we're closed, not coming in. Our decision is final. So yeah, Carlos Sainz this weekend has to get an of the week. His teammates up there in P5. Quite a number of rivals of the likes of Williams, of course, have had good points finishers as well. Double points finish for Aston Martin, double points finish for Haas, a P3 finish for the Visa Cash App squad. So there's a lot of points there that went missing, went begging, and had Carlos Sainz got himself into that top 10, he'd have taken some of those points away and kept that cushion to 5th in the Constructors a little bit safer. So yeah, it would have been probably a P7, P8 finish for Sainz this weekend had he not had that contact, but as it was, he was literally out of the race from there, really. The fact he got to P13 with a 10-second time penalty that is served in the race is something, but it's not amazing, is it? So yeah, big shame. Has to be an of the week. You can call that harsh if you want. It was a racing incident, but once again, it's Carlos Sainz, and once again, his teammates up there getting a top 5 finish, and Carlos Sainz is just in the gaggle of bad luckness, and it's just not good. So Carlos Sainz, an of the week to him, and probably near a disqualification as well, to be honest. What a shame. Next up we come to Nico Hülkenberg. Oh, I needed that. Well, Hulkenberg this weekend, nowhere really. Out in Q1 once again, poor qualifying performance. The car just didn't look like it was suited to this circuit. They were always looking like they were going to be on the back foot. Certainly didn't look like a Q3 appearance car. And then the race itself, they didn't get any of the strategy calls right or wrong. They just did their own thing. But things just didn't go their way. They didn't get lucky, they didn't get unlucky. They were just where they were. Big shame for Hulkenberg, because we saw how well he's done in previous races in terms of like maximising opportunities, coming up through the field. You see what Albon did on lap 1 and what he was able to then achieve from there. You know, 15th to 10th on lap 1, 10th to 5th as a result of the timings of safety cars and pit stop windows, etc. But nothing went Hulkenberg's this way this weekend, unfortunately. So it's going to be 6 to Hulkenberg for that. An okay weekend, solid if unspectacular. The Sauber didn't look like a point-scoring car, to be fair, but when this sort of opportunity arises where there's a few safety cars, a couple of virtual safety cars, that's where you sort of expect Hulkenberg to maybe scrape a point or two, but unfortunately this time around, didn't work out. 6 to Nico Hülkenberg. And finishing behind his teammate, we come to Gabriel Bartlett, also in the second of the state. Kick me up the arse, Saubers. Again, pretty much what I can say about Bartlett is what I can say about Hülkenberg. It was a steady weekend, but nothing spectacular. Bartlett qualified himself in P13, which was a lot better than his teammate. However, had a sloppy start, bogged down, and was last off the line. So that was a shame. Lost all the positions he'd done in qualifying and was down in 19th. Damage limitation from there, unfortunately, and again, didn't get anything right, didn't get anything wrong, just did what they could, and here it is, 14th and 15th was the best they could turn up with. Gabriel Bartlett also gets solid 6 from me, same as his teammate. Again, just one of those races where Sauber were nowhere, which was a shame, because there was chance for a couple of points there, had it gone their way, but even then, it wouldn't have been enough. So yeah, they tumbled to 8th now in the constructors' standings as well, which was a shame because they were 6th at one point. But yeah, that's life, isn't it? That's racing. I hope they bounce back stronger. Didn't have a good return after the summer break, but they'll be looking to make amends in Monza. 6 to Bortoletto. After crossing the line in P something or other, picking up a few points, then getting a 10-second time penalty for contact with Charles Leclerc, and then picking up a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane, we come to Andrea Kimi Antonelli.
After my venture into F1, I looked at other single-seater championships. I raced in Super League for AC Milan and then in A1GP for Team Netherlands. Those championships were just as ill-fated as my career, sadly.
And there we have it! And of the week to Andrea Kimi Antonelli, because once again, this rookie talent is delivering nothing for this Mercedes team. He's only got 64 points on the board. Only 64. Alex Albon has the same amount now. It's crazy. He's had one podium this season so far at Canada. Isaac Hadjar now has a podium. Isaac Hadjar in a much inferior car. You know, in terms of points at the end of the season, the chances are Antonelli, he's going to have more because he's in a car that's capable of scoring points. But at the minute, he's not even scoring points in it. It's so frustrating. It's unbelievable. So yeah, Andrea Kimi Antonelli, I'm not getting the hype with him at all. I'm really not. I always give everyone benefit of the doubt. But then how many times do we get told and told again listening to Sky F1 broadcast that they're not rookies? They're not rookies, they are coming in for the first season, but they're so well established, they're so great, they're so amazing, all these drivers, that they're just going to be an absolute talent all season long. And you think, yeah, fair enough, whatever then. I'll not treat him like a rookie. Well, I'm not treating him like a rookie for ploughing into the side of Charles Leclerc and then speeding in the pit lane. I mean, as rookie errors go, both of those are quite stupid, aren't they? They are quite thick. So yeah, Andrea Kimi Antonelli is awarded an of the week. I think that's his third or fourth now. Not good. Not good at all. I'm not impressed by him so far. We've seen a couple of good races from him, and they were early on this season, but my God, since the European round, he has really taken a tumble and struggling to even score points in them. So yeah, not happy, not impressed, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli, another poor performance by him. And yeah, he's down here as a result of 15 seconds worth of time penalties in a race. Great. Good stuff. And of the week to Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Then we come to the last of the runners in Pierre Gasly in the second of the Alpines. He went for a late stop at the end just to try and do something, I think, didn't he? I can't really remember, but he was down here anyway. And I don't really care, to be honest. He was left out on the old tyres, a bit like Bortoletto, I think. And obviously then they tumbled down the order and then pitted, and then he was here last. I don't care. He's getting 3 from me. 3 from me. Could have done more to help his teammate, maybe secure a point. I think it's unlikely, but even so, if he'd just obeyed the team order and let Colapinto through, it'd have been no questions raised then. If Colapinto was still 11th, you'd think, well, fair enough, that's all that car were capable of. But the fact he didn't let him through, and Colapinto were on fresher tyres. Bit of a dick move, that. Bit of a dick move. But nonetheless, Gasly, 3 points. Frustration once again sets in. And he is the last of the runners in a car that is shite. Yeah, that's that really. 3 to Gasly. Then we come to the list of DNFers. The last to retire in the race. The first on this list, of course, is Lando Norris. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. McLaren finally have an issue with a car that leads to a retirement in the race, a power unit problem, which is Mercedes' fault really, unless it was an installation error. But yeah, only a few laps away from the end of the race, lap 65, lap 66 he broke down, didn't he? Just a few laps away from the end, and that's a great shame. He'd have been P2 anyway. Yes, he was hunting down Oscar, but I don't think he was going to find a way around him. Instead of losing out 7 points to him, taking the gap to 15, 16 points in the standings, it's now 34 as a result of that DNF, and that's a shame. As much as Lando has dropped the ball so many times this season, he didn't deserve that, but at the same time, you know, you make your own luck in life, don't you? You pave your own way, and he has been quite lucky to be so close to Oscar anyway in the championship standings that maybe this is karma and maybe this is the way of the world saying, no, the gap should be a lot more than just a few points, and we're going to punish you for that luckiness that you've had. All swings and roundabouts, unfortunately. So, Lando Norris out, a maximum of 5 a retirement can score. I'm going to give him 3 because despite the retirement and despite whatever he did, it was always going to lead to a retirement. He should have had pole. He looked far more comfortable in the free practice sessions, but then when crunch time comes once again for qualifying, he doesn't get the best out of the car and he lines up P2. He lost out to Max Verstappen off the line, which he shouldn't be doing in that car, then has to recover the situation and re-overtake Max, which is obviously a thing that can happen and is easily to do, but he shouldn't be in that position. And then the race itself was playing catch-up, and then the engine blew up. So yeah, he's not getting a maximum of 5 because it wasn't a 5-worthy performance of a retirement. Mistake in qualifying, mistake in the race to let Max Verstappen get through. It's 3 points. 3 to Lando. You can call me harsh if you like, but that's deserved. 3 to Lando, that's that. And then we come to la la. Oh, sacre bleu, la 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 la. Oh, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Punted off by the Wonder Kid, Kimi Antonelli, what a fucking hero. Yeah, honestly, Charles Leclerc this weekend was driving well, driving solid, probably been a P5, P6 finish this weekend. That was just the pace of the Ferrari. In some aspects, they were lucky to get through it out of Q1, weren't they, and through into Q2 because the pace of that car in that first session was diabolical. Yeah, you know, here is Ferrari, here is Leclerc doing all he can, but then he certainly wasn't his fault why he was a victim of the attack from Kimi Antonelli. Punted him off, out of the race, a double rear puncture, and a front nose off as well, so I think he'd have retired even if he limped it back to the pits because there'd have been no brackets to stick the new front wing on, unfortunately. So, yeah, from that moment on, it was a retirement, sadly, and yeah, that was that. He was a victim of an attack, and that wasn't his fault. So, out of a maximum of 5 a retirement can score, it's 5 to Leclerc. I don't think he could have got anything more out of that heap of shit Ferrari this time around, and yeah, it was going to be a solid points finish, but nothing else other than that, and then was bumped out of the race due to no fault of his own. 5-2, shalala. And then last but by no means least, we come to the 7-time world champion, and I love a good wall, in Lewis Hamilton.
Once I left motorsport, the next logical step was to set up a business producing and selling sex toys. It has been incredibly successful, and it's nice that I'm no longer on the receiving end of being shafted.
And there we have it. And of the week 2, Lewis Hamilton, Robert Dornbos doing the awards once again. Honestly, what can I say? What can I say? What an absolutely disgusting way to come back after the summer break. I'm rejuvenated, I'm revitalised, I'm repatriated, I'm reinvigorated, I'm everything else that starts with re. You weren't though, were you, Lewis? You weren't. And then not only does he fall out of the race himself by getting on the damp advertising boarding at turn 3, turn 4 and spitting it off into the wall, he disobeys the double waved yellow that's always there coming up to the starting grid for the reconnaissance laps before you even start the race, not the formation lap, the reconnaissance, and just goes blasting it down the pit lane. You're supposed to lift off, Lewis. 5-place grid penalty incoming for the Italian Grand Prix as a result of that. Absolute donut. So when you think about the pace of that Ferrari is probably only going to be P7, P8, that's if he gets the most out of it, then that's going to put him P12, P13 in the danger zone. We can see another retirement coming straight away, can't we? I mean, if he fails to get it together and gets himself knocked out of Q1 or Q2, it's probably going to be better for him because he'll start at the back and avoid the chaos. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, Lewis Hamilton, what an absolute ridiculous way to come back after the summer break. He's just not doing anything, is he? Not doing anything. I mean, stuffing it in the wall like that, that's a rookie error. I could have forgiven Antonelli a little bit more for doing that than what he did to Leclerc, but yeah, just absolutely ridiculous. That was not Lewis Hamilton driving that car, was it? That's what it felt like. You know, you don't see Lewis Hamilton make mistakes like that, and he went and did it. So yeah, Lewis Hamilton has to be a Robert Dornbos of the week to him for what is yet another poor performance, and takes a penalty into the next race due to his own stupidity on a reconnaissance lap. There's always double wave yellows there, because if you're not going into the pit lane to do another lap, then you're coming up to the back of the grid. There's a double wave yellow. Always is, always will be, because you stop, switch off your car, and the mechanics push you down. God's sake, it's basics, Lewis. It's basics. You've done God however many races you've done in Formula 1, closing in on 400 now, no doubt, and we've done that. We've done that before the race even began. Got your fate sealed for Italy before the race had even begun in Holland. Crazy stuff. So yeah, and of the week to Lewis Hamilton. So everything, guys, those were the runners and riders of the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort. Let me know down in the comment section. Just go any driver too high, any too low. The updated standings with the scores I've just awarded are on the screen now for you to take a look at. Have a look and see where your favourite driver is right now, and based on how well they did this weekend, do you think I scored them well? Do you think I gave a fair score? Was it a fair assessment to how their weekend unfolded? Have they gone up? Have they gone down? Let me know, as always, in the comment section. Look forward to having a good old chat with you all. But yeah, there's certainly a lot to play for, but a pecking order is firmly emerging now, isn't there? With just 9 races left to go of the season. It's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top, but you know, you've got some good names up there. You've got the likes of Albon up there, Hulkenberg's still fighting up there. You've got George Russell, Leclerc. It's all happening. It's all kicking off. There's a lot to play for on this series, and every driver now is really, realistically, the top 8, 9 are still in with a shout. Let's take a look at the team standards as well. We may as well while we're here, haven't we? Let's have a look and see how they all change or swap around now as a result of the points I have awarded the drivers. I am not going to manipulate these anymore. Whatever they've got is what they're getting. I'm not adding any points onto the teams or deducting any at the moment. So what they have is what they will stick with. Yeah, again, a lot to play for in the team standards, of course. There's a couple of teams there with massive minus points that will be severely hampered come the end of the season. But you never know, they might do something really impressive for me to take those minus points off. Who knows? Who knows? But yes, as always, let's see how that unfolds. But yeah, for now, I'm just going to leave it alone. A massive thanks as always goes out to Dan Bartlett, formerly of Mushy Gaming, of course, for providing me with the intro that you saw at the start of the video, for the scoreboard that you've just seen on the screen, and for the driver icons in the corner of the screen as well. Without him, this series would be more pointless than it already is. And who can forget Dave, F1 Games PlayStation, for providing me with the of the weeks that you all know and love. I will see you all next Tuesday, 6 PM, for the Italian Grand Prix. They're back and we're coming thick and fast now, aren't they? So yeah, see you all Tuesday at 6 for that one. Look forward to it. Should be a good race. I love Monza. The Tifosi are going to be cheering those Ferraris on, but yeah, I don't know whether Lewis Hamilton's able to do anything in it, but we'll see. We can hope, can't we? We can cross his fingers. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and as always, much love.